Well, hello and welcome back to the Easy Reefers Coastal Restoration Club. And what else did I put on my new little icon there? Online Marine Fish Emergency Room, where anytime you see me live, you can come ask me what you need to do if you have any problems with your marine aquariums. And that is including fish health problems, coral health problems, overall tank health problems. Got an algae problem, I can probably diagnose it for you. Whatever the problem is, I'm here to help, because I've been doing this for 30 years and am now YouTube's only live streaming marine fish breeder, which pretty much makes me outrank, yeah, I said outrank, all of the other YouTube reefers. And you know why I outrank all of the other YouTube reefers? Not just because I'm a clownfish breeder, not just because I've done this for 30 years, but because unlike just about every single YouTuber, I have not had the same tank my whole life. I have not had one giant aquarium. I've had many different aquariums. I've helped many different people set up aquariums over many decades. And I know things like, oh, Malev's Reef. Great YouTuber, great looking tank setup, really good for people who can afford the kind of stuff that he does. But his channel and all the advice he gives is 100% useless to 99% of reefers. Yeah, sorry Mel, I love you guy. Mark Levinson, lovely guy. Met him, hung out with him. Lovely guy. But most people don't have the money to take him on as a you know, to be his client. So most people don't have the money to listen to the advice that he gives, for the advice that he gives to do any good. Prime example, his rose bubble anemone care guide is almost completely useless. Okay? It's not actually going to tell you anything but the basic facts that you can Google about a rose bubble anemone, and it makes me wonder if he actually knows anything more than that about bubble tip anemones. But I can see how he's been successful. I can see that he got lucky and he's got a stable setup, okay? The little cube he's got, it's linked to his 300-gallon reef. There's the stability right there. The reason why it's successful in particular is because it's a cube and the rocks are in the middle of it, so the anemones don't want to climb, okay? But he doesn't point either of those things out on the How to Keep Rose Bubble Anemones video. The two main things that make him successful, he didn't even notice. But if you'd set up many different aquariums and you've seen failure as much as you've seen success, if you've been in this hobby for 30 years, back before we figured out how to do the things that y'all know how to do today just by picking up your phones and Googling it, you'd know the what's and the whys and the hows and the behind story to just exactly what it is that's making that anemone survive where another anemone might die. And then you can see somebody who doesn't have a setup that arbitrary advice applies to, and you can tell them whether or not they can keep an anemone. Chances are the answer is no. Most people who are going to try to keep a bubble tip anemone in a 40-gallon or 60-gallon cube are going to kill that anemone. That's just a fact, Jack. Even I, with all of my years of experience, would have significant problems attempting to do so. And in fact, even now that I've been at the level for quite some time where I've had anemones in 40-gallon systems, I still managed to screw it up here on the channel, and you can go check that out, and you can learn even more lessons, and you can see the effects of mistakes that I made for reasons that you probably won't encounter, but you could make those same mistakes for other reasons, like turning a heater up too high. Overfeeding your tank. You want to see the severe consequence of overfeeding your tank? I made a point of demonstrating that for people. See, it wasn't just enough for me that I easily Googled, easily got from, actually didn't even really use Google so much for this particular set of details, but was able to watch presentations by other marine fish breeders and find a pretty, pretty even overall unanimous consensus. Unanimous, that's the word I was looking for. Consensus, that a unanimous consensus that you should keep your brood stock set up separate from your reef tank and separate from your grow out system. But I said, no, I want to know why that's a bad idea. I want to see what exactly is the level of imbalance. What exactly is the problem? What can I learn from doing it? I just had to know, and I wanted to do it myself, and we did. And y'all got to see every step of the way for 2 years now. From the point of first getting those clownfish and setting up this tank over here in the corner, to when they first laid eggs, to when we first actually successfully raised some baby clownfish, to when we had raised 100 baby clownfish, to when I was panicking because I thought I was going to wind up raising hundreds more baby clownfish and I didn't have the space for it. And by that time, what little coral and the anemones that I had, oh, nothing was doing well at all. I had the most phosphate, nitrate, riddim, just overfed system I could possibly imagine. But I wanted to debunk another thing by doing that experiment. Old tank syndrome. That tank right there, okay, rapidly encountered and experienced a full-blown form of old tank syndrome because of the sheer amount of food that got dumped into it. Okay, and not just food for the brood stock, but food for the baby fish that were in there, and the amount of poo that just gets floating around in the water and then just settles into the sand. There was just so much detritus in that sand, and that's what makes old tank syndrome. And without having to break down the rocks, because I set it up properly to begin with, and then was able to diligently siphon all the way around the rocks, we've almost eliminated the hair algae problem, except for the rocks that are leaching phosphates still themselves, and growing all kinds of SPS in there. But like Malev's Reef, I have that 20-gallon long linked to another 100 gallons worth of water. Or, yeah, another 100 gallons worth of water. 55, 24, and 20, just about 100. Of course, none of them are all filled up all the way, but it's close enough, damn it. So anyways, I'm looking over there and I'm trying not to get close because I wanted them to get comfortable again before I filmed them again. Right there is Leo and Mai. And she's not acting pissy. She's not up at the entrance trying to push him out at all. It's a little late for me to still be having so many lights on, but I'm going to go ahead and leave them on for the rest of the video. I'm going to shut up and let y'all go ahead and see them. I'll use the camera stand. So anyways, I just got done getting a nice reminder of why I don't want to be doing this channel the way I was doing it anymore. I'm tired of dealing with the trolls and the obnoxious comments and the stupid fucking questions. I'm just tired of dealing with it. And, you know, I don't understand what more I could have done. Aside from maybe in the beginning, knowing, if I would have just known how disappointing it would be, the people that were supposedly with me, how disappointing it would be, the amount of enthusiasm with which, and I'm talking sternly to the people who are my friends now, okay? I'm disappointed that nobody had enough faith in me to actually take the appropriate level of action, to risk embarrassing themselves, to risk even martyring themselves socially, at the most, at the worst, to save the world. You know? Not a whole lot of links got shared when I requested people share links. And how often did anybody do that when I wasn't asking? I shouldn't have had to ask. I shouldn't have been the only one organizing the effort to save humanity. Huh. As far as I'm concerned, I did my part. I did my best. I tore myself apart emotionally, trying to help. I just can't do it. Because, frankly, if I keep providing the most unique and insightful analysis available on the internet and getting shunned by fucking YouTube corporate, I really will be on the fucking news. And, oh, the count will be a hell of a lot higher. You see, there's such a thing as honor. Now, if I was to find a large encampment of Confederates about to make an assault on Washington, D.C., it would be my duty as an American citizen to go and kill as many of those fucking people as I possibly could. Now, the question is, Google Incorporated, are you a camp of Confederates assaulting Washington, D.C.? I think you are. And to prove to me that you're not, my insightful videos, my videos that warn about Russia, should have been gone fucking viral by now. The fact that they haven't, the fact that this unique insight that only I have provided has not been made available to the general public, tells me that Google Incorporated is a Confederate enemy camp in my country, here to assault the citizens that I consider brothers and sisters. I'll just say this, you know, independently. I'm not gonna go and tie it into everything. I'm gonna keep my videos up on playlists for people who want to go and learn. I'm not gonna be posting, I'm not gonna be tagging, not gonna be keywording any more of this shit. Never again. But I'm gonna be mentioning this every so often until I see the apology written in results, in dollar signs. Because not only did I give the best strategic advice to any American citizen, but now I'm giving the best aquarium advice. And well, YouTube is a good place for smart aquarium enthusiasts to make money. Plenty of people have made, thousands of dollars a month with their fish tanks on YouTube. Most of those people are repeating advice that you can look up on Google for yourself. I'm not one of those people. Maybe I'm not as good at editing videos, but you know what? Most YouTube viewers who aren't trolls, who don't work for some random graphics company in Poland, or some random shit like that, they don't care about splash screens and horrible electronic music. Horrible electronic music. How many damn reefing channels are going to use the same? Oh my fucking god, I can't take it anymore. Like, I fucking have to watch these videos that people post on mute, because they all want to have this stupid fucking electronic music playing. Really? Everybody's got to have the same music? The same music? No, this isn't a bunch of manufactured people who are actually actors pretending to be enthusiasts. Couldn't be. And Milev's Reef being the exclusion, he is definitely a lucky reef hobbyist, well, unlucky reef hobbyist, who wound up making the best of a bad situation. He was hurt in a bad car accident, got a big settlement, and set him up a fucking brilliant, well-marketed aquarium service business and YouTube channel. And he's got Malev's Reef coffee cups, man. That is pimp. That is pimp. We need some Easy Reefers coffee cups, huh? And, you know, all I can say is, damn, I'm good as far as the new name that I've been holding back. This is the one that I've been holding back for however long I've been saying. I can't tell you all the name. Easy Reefers. You know, like Easy Riders? Because I live in the South. And I tell you what, you'd be surprised how many rednecks like saltwater fish tanks. I knew a whole construction crew. That had all bought tanks. One of them got into it and got the rest of them into it. Now, let me say this, YouTube. I challenge any of you to find the slightest logical argument that increasing the amount of sustainable aquaculture aquarium keeping would not be good overall for society and the environment. Okay? The fact of the matter is, animal husbandry in general has been proven and has been known throughout centuries to reduce stress and increase morality. Not just morale, morality. Caring for animals helps you care for other people. This just seems logical, yes? But in addition to this, people need Zen time. People need time to focus on something that they and nature help build. That's why bonsai trees are such a beautiful Zen thing. Zen cannot be achieved through a work of your hands. Zen must be experienced through a combination of effort and imagination and experience of nature. There is no more perfect form than aquarium keeping. It is the perfect form of Zen. But wait, there's more. If you act now, you will inspire and help inspire just by making this channel go viral. Just by making this channel go viral, you will inspire people to care more about the environment as a whole. 70% of the earth, actually 71.7 something, right, is covered in ocean water. That's not lakes and bays and rivers and shit, that's just ocean water. Most of the oxygen that we breathe is produced by ocean plants. There are caulerpa and kelp forests bigger than the entire continent of South America. At least they used to be. I don't know, we probably fucking killed them all by now. But that's kind of the point, isn't it? Enthusiasm leads to ecology. That's the theory. That's the benefit that the universe has sewn into its own rules. That the ultimate form of home decoration is also the ultimate form of Zen focus, and is also the ultimate form of understanding how to preserve your own environment. The universe is a nice place. I wonder who built it. Must be a slow guy. Or girl. Or both. I wonder what it'd be like if he came back as a human being and had his own YouTube channel. I wonder what he would say. I wonder if he would have warned us about Russia. Sorry. I'm done. You know, it's so hard to hold back the simplest explanation I have for most trolls who want to call me a moron or whatever it is because they can't see that, you know, there's horrible pixelation in the foreground image and smooth lack of pixelation in the background image, and that's because the image is fake. You can't get two fucking resolutions on the same image. But see, rather than just have to explain that, I would much rather just beat the shit out of it. I really don't have the patience to teach fucking children how to breathe when all they want to do is hold their fucking breath. You know what I say? If you're holding your breath, I might as well dunk your ass underwater for a while. Therein lies the ancient joke that led to baptism. Oh, but wait, I'm on the wrong channel. I can't explain that. Right. You know what would fix the world? If legitimate YouTubers came to me for advice on their content. Especially anyone hoping to represent a scientific view of creation. Because, well, if you get that wrong, you're embarrassing God. And frankly, without God's help, it's impossible to get it right. That's another one of those laws of the universe things. Kind of one of the less convenient ones. But it has its reasons. Just like the reason why coral reefs are so beautiful. Did you ever wonder why, if there's a God, why did he make coral reefs so beautiful? And in fact, if there's a good reason for coral reefs being beautiful, wouldn't that also, ipso facto, circumstantially prove that there might be a God? If there's a logical, mechanical reason, something that cannot be attributed to the consciousness of the supposedly evolving life form, it hasn't created pretty patterns to be noticed by other species. Corals can't see. And there are fish in many different environments and many different depths that can do just fine without bright neon colors. Even the clownfish's stripes call out to the Russians, who have an organized campaign to terraform the Earth by destroying the reefs. Well, that's not consciously what they're intending to do, but they're not seeming to think about that's the main thing that's going to happen. All the reefs in the world are going to go bye-bye. And it doesn't matter how warm their waters get and how many ports open up for them. The ocean will from that point on be shitty and not worth visiting. Three stripes. Is there a #1 Russian logo, brand, or otherwise, some major Russian company, some default Russian company that people think of when they think of, hey, what's made in Russia? That happens to have 3 stripes? Well, why would God put 3 stripes on a clownfish? Why would God want such a personable, pet-like creature out in the oceans where we couldn't see it until just the past couple centuries? Why are coral reefs pretty? Why are marine ornamental fish so beautiful? If there's a God. If there's a God, why would he create such a thing? And if there is reason for Adidas clownfish, could there be a way to connect it all? Paying attention to reefs, learning about the hobby of reefs is actually a metaphor for the exact thing that you can learn from reefs in the wild. You see, when you learn about the hobby, you wind up evolving from a beginner to an intermediate. Now, a beginner has to use test kits. They have to measure individual compounds just to see how their water quality is. But an intermediate and an expert, an experienced person, after so long, they can just look at the tank and see how it's doing. They can look at the tank and say, I need to up my calcium a little. I need to up my magnesium a little. I need to up my iodine a little. I think I got too much nitrates. I think I got too much phosphates. Just by looking at the corals, just by looking at the plants, just by looking at the reef. I think I got a temperature problem. I think there's something spilled in my tank. Just by looking at it. The more of those hobbyists, the more of those experienced eyes there are watching over the planet, now in this day and age that we can keep an eye on the reefs in the oceans with freaking web cameras. We don't have to guess. There's no debate about environmental science. It's not just a research study. It's experience. We know nitrates and phosphates kill in this way. When we see a reef die in this way in the wild, we know that it's nitrates and phosphates doing it. making those corals more susceptible to disease. And then all that gets reported on the fucking news is the disease. Are you kidding me? Well, guess what? If there were more reef hobbyists, if owning a reef aquarium was as common as owning a dog, the general public would not be so easily deceived. So the most responsible thing that Google could possibly do is start recommending reefing channels to make up for the fact that they de-recommended people who were trying to warn about Russia. Even those who had to talk about some crazy shit just to get attention, just to keep from being assassinated. For whatever reason. If they had warned about Russia before the news ever even mentioned anything about Russia, their channel should have gone viral by now. But if for some reason that's impossible, what Google can do to save themselves, to save your own lives, Google employees, is let any reefing YouTuber with actual advice to give, not just the quality splash screen and the annoying electric music, make them go viral, make them get recommended. If somebody likes animal videos of any kind, they should be recommended some beginner saltwater aquarium videos, some why you should keep an aquarium videos. And to my other reefing channels, you might see this video one day. The same way I once asked the Flat Earth channels to mention the fact that the country called Russia exists. I'm asking you guys to focus on marketing the hobby itself. 10 reasons why you need to own a fish tank. You know what I'm saying? Why fish are better to own than dogs and cats. How to set up a reef tank for less money than it costs to own a cat. Or how to set up a reef tank for the same amount of money it costs to own a gerbil. Okay? And really, you do one of those for each fucking type of animal kept as a pet. That way, whatever pet they have, they might consider, hey, maybe we should get a reef tank too. And most people don't realize it's actually feasible these days to keep a very, very small reef tank. Just using a jug of distilled water once a week. little Leo has boldly gone where no clownfish has gone before. Excuse me. I hope my grows are fin back all the way. She pretty much grew up in this system. She was very, very small when we got her. Not as small as that little guy. The onyx. You know, I'm sitting there worried about providing enough iron in my system to keep an onyx with the full black coloration, that deep, deep black. And that, what was it, the Pro Aquatics onyx that I got. Had a fin that had been bitten off and was close to death when I got it from the store. And regrew the entire fin, but instead of being normally colored like the onyx on the logo that I just made earlier, which is kind of like, there's like orange and black on the fin and like a little shell-like pattern kind of. But there's, you know, there's a distinct little orange crescent in there, right? His fin grew back completely black. So now on one side he's got the little orange, on the other side it's just completely black. But mine's stuck in this quarantine, and no matter how much water I'm exchanging, it's just like, it just looks like there's not much minerals in there, you know, just, it's kind of hard to believe there's minerals in the water, even though I know the science of it. Because there isn't a bunch of aragonite sitting below it, constantly buffering the water, like I'm used to relying on. I've been a big proponent of aragonite. Whether or not you keep it in just a reactor by itself, or whether you use it in a sand bed or whatever, aragonite needs to be in a saltwater system. There's no two ways about it. It's the default reason for most problems that expensive setups have, is the lack of aragonite sand. You see people with these big fancy reef tanks, and either just a little bit of oolite on the bottom, and that's the really fine powdery sand, or glass bottoms altogether. Okay. And they wind up having sudden RTNing of massive coral colonies. Well, if they would have just had a bunch of aragonite, it wouldn't matter what test kit had malfunctioned or expired prematurely. Their dosing would not be the bottom end of their basic mineral supplement. And here's what I mean by it. You put your aragonite just downstream of your freshwater top-off. Okay, the freshwater top-off lowers the pH a little bit. The aragonite is going to be activated by that lowering of the pH and release calcium and magnesium and trace minerals back into the water, raising the pH back up. And anytime any mineral is lacking in the system, that mineral dissolves out of the aragonite more rapidly. So it's basically a totally naturally adjusting buffer. Now, it's not going to keep enough of those minerals in your system to rapidly grow coral. That's why you can't rely on oregonite alone. But having a sufficient amount of oregonite in a system downstream of your freshwater top-off will keep any one of those compounds from dropping so far down or from experiencing such a rapid spike downward that your corals stress an RTM. In addition to this, much like carbon, calcium carbonate also absorbs coral poisons when they poison each other. So that's another problem that people have with these big reef systems that nobody's talking about, that everybody's completely overlooked, that I can just see because of my fucking experience, okay? I've just had more time to think about all this stuff. I've had more sitting and vegging out time, you know? It takes years to accumulate that kind of wisdom. There's a lot of knowledge out there in the hobby, and there's a lot of people who have more knowledge in certain areas than me. But I am at least valuable for my wisdom in this area. And I think I should be one of the top 10 reefing channels, especially considering that we're going to make a weekly focus and a daily tribute to coastal restoration. In fact, I'm going to try to mention it on every single broadcast. Because if we want to restore the reefs, we got to tackle the problem at the source. And the source is rivers. The same rivers that create all those marshes that we rely on to protect our coasts from erosion, from hurricanes and whatnot. We can have an all-in-one approach. And I've presented the plan on this channel, and I will certainly be making more presentations in the future. To shore up the pollution caused by fertilizer runoff. And the fertilizer runoff itself isn't the problem. It's the cascading chain of effects that aren't being addressed. If we'd address those cascading chains of effects, the fertilizer wouldn't be a problem. Because guess what? Every animal produces fertilizer in some form or another, directly or indirectly. Especially cows. Yeah. No, especially hippos. And they do it in a really obnoxious way. Oh my goodness. I was at the zoo one time, and it went up all up against the glass. I was traumatized. I could never even look at my own shit the same way without being grossed out. Like, I was fine with poo until that moment. So whoever's here, you can say hello in the chats, and I can see the phone screen from here. Can't guarantee I can read it quick enough if it's a long message, though. It just kind of pops up on the screen and then goes away. I can't believe I have three fucking LG Optimus F3 cubes from T-Mobile. And all of them have fucking broken. All of them. Just one after the other. Not from being dropped, not from any actual physical problems, keyboards didn't go dead, nothing like that. They just stopped booting up for no reason. Oh, fancy that. Fancy that. Nothing to see here. Nothing suspicious about it. Right after the point where I was saying, oh shit, we cannot spend any more money, we are about to be fucking flat broke. Recalculating, you know, the wife has lost her job, now we're basically both disabled, only she's not receiving any disability yet. Fuck, we're gonna get across town. I can't drive without getting a damn backache for 3 days. She can't fucking see out of one eye. Just all of a sudden, just can't see out of one eye. And her boss said she can't return to work until they tell her what the fuck's wrong with her at the very least. I need to remember to call, get my wife to call, get in touch with her boss's husband, who's also in the fish business, as a matter of fact. I want to see if he wants to do anything else. I've got to get my store built. I determine exactly what I can and can't do for a living. Determine what exactly I am useful and useless at. And based on the fact that there is no other saltwater store anywhere around here, I think it's a foregone conclusion. It's build or bust for me. I'm either going to get help getting the store done, or getting the channel some fucking views so it can make some money, so I can get the store done. Or, probably gonna wind up a vagabond. That's just not gonna be good for certain people. Really cool. I'm too old for that shit. I'm not gonna want to prolong the experience. Just entirely too well trained to put up with being fucked with like this. So back to the clownfish. As far as a pair of Accelerus goes, that is my dream pair right there. A maroon Accelerus hybrid and a DaVinci. Couldn't have worked out any other way than the male being tiny though. The female is just too aggressive. And it requires absolute submission. So that tiny little male is going to be absolutely submissive, that's for sure. So how I got them to go in the pot together after only 2 days, even though he's just kind of hovering around the edge of it, that's practically in the pot as far as she's concerned. She doesn't let any other fish get near her pot, especially not a clownfish. She will, you know, the whole time, Gaius. He didn't make it that far. But I've taken advantage of this quarantine setup, and here's what wound up working. I tried putting multiple objects to them nose, and it was either one or the other, and you know, I would swap them out and switch back and forth, and she would start to think and put different objects in there. He could go to it, and then I'd pull her object out. So whether it was the pot or the plate, I'd put the plate in there, and he would go and host to it, and then pull the pot out, so she would have to go to him. Okay. And then, if she started defending the plate, I would just take that out too, and let them swim around with nothing in there for a while, just together. Then, after I put the blue lights on tonight, when it was time for bed, then I put the pot back in. And I was planning on repeating that cycle again tomorrow, but I'll see how the day once the lights are back on. I may do it again where I put the plate back in there, let him go and host the plate for a while, then take the pot out, and make her go and go to him. Basically, when she goes to his territory, that's more of an acceptance type thing psychologically for the fish, as far as their breeding patterns. What happens is, if the male comes to her, she gets protected over her little sleeping spot, because she likes to be alone. But if she will go to his spot, she basically goes there with the social expectation of, that's his spot, he's a male, he's alright, let's go hang out with him for a little while. And then if she gets used to being with him, then that becomes their spot. Now the problem is, with any pot is her spot, and she loves her pots. So I got to bring her to his spot, and then get them used to each other. So in a sense, especially when the objects get removed from the tank, the hosting objects, the pot and the plate both get removed, the spot that my bonds to becomes that little male clownfish. And she, associates her comfort and her relevance and her position to him in the empty tank. So then you put the pot back in, she went in there earlier, and he was still afraid to go in because, you know, it's wise to be afraid to go in. And you could tell that she was actually poking her head out looking for him when he would go back behind the pot. He was going back on the side of it. And she was like going in and kind of faking like she was afraid of something to try to trick him into coming in there with him, almost. Like, that's what it seemed like to me a couple times. And she's going all the way to the back of the pot, like leaving room for him. Come on, you gotta come in or what? So at this point, what needs to happen is he needs to reach maturity so that he can do a nice little impressive shimmy and dance for her. Oh, she did nothing. She will never be fully accepting of him until he does the whole courtship dance. But I don't think he can physiologically do it at that age. He needs to reach about a year and a half old. He's about a year old right now. And then he'll turn into a male. But it's not until he turns into a male that he has the hormones or whatever is required physiologically for them to be able to do the actual little twitching kind of courtship dance. The younger ones can do like a little shimmy and they kind of mimic it. But they can't do the twitch. It's like, you know, old people can do the twist, but kids can just kind of do the spaz. My old triple A's, I can still do the twist. I'm not even old enough to be able to do the twist. Well, I guess with that explanation, we have our conclusion, and I think this is as close as he's going to get for the night. It's just on that top little rim right there. I think I need to turn off the light so she'll let him a little further in. But now y'all can't see. I'm gonna see if this fancy little thing will let me do anything about this. Hold on. Nope, that didn't help at all. moon thing. I like to show the moon thing. No, that didn't help at all either. But anyway, he's trying to get in there. And she's still not really letting him. No, he's swimming to the other side of the tank. Oh. My. If she keeps up that nonsense, I'll probably just pull out the pot. But anyways, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Y'all take it easy. Peace.